Hi, I'm Darlene Washington, and this is Spiritually Intriguing, the Church Edition. Here we are continuing our conversation with Pastor Charles A. Floyd II of New Mount Olive Missionary Baptist Church in Gary, Indiana. Pastor?
Good evening.
Here we are with one more topic that will just burn your bottom like it's burning mine. A federal judge told the Supreme Court, brace yourself, he said, shut the F up. And I was just blown away. I was like, he really said that? He really said that. It's awesome that someone can finally be that blunt and speak the truth so plainly in a federal situation, in a courtroom like that. So my question is, what happens if we take the hypocrisy out of law? What happens? What do you think?
Well, that's an interesting question. I guess the first thing I would want to know is there hypocrisy in law? Or is there hypocrisy among lawyers and those that occupy the bench? That's the real question. I don't think there's hypocrisy in the law because the law is supposed to be equal. Right. But if you have individuals that are not applying the law equally, therein lies the issue. Yeah. There's
your hypocrisy right there. But I agree. So what can we do to correct that? I mean, look at the way that Barack Obama has been addressed in his presidency. You know, that to me, along with this judge being so frank, just addresses, you know, the way that we are carrying on with our political figures. You know, how are we respecting the boundaries? You know, I know that he overstepped his when he told the Supreme Court to shut the F up, but people have also been overstepping their boundaries with our president and some of the things and the ways they approach it. I'm not saying, because he did that, it's okay for other folks to do what they are doing to the president as well. But what's your take on that?
Well, I think that the response to President Barack Obama has been one of extreme disrespect. It's been international disdain. And with all due respect, I think it is where no matter how high you go, you're still perceived as a nigger. That's how we perceive you. So we're going to treat you that way. And although it may be whitewashed, it may be sugar-coated, it is the same thing. What comes to mind was when President Obama was speaking, and one of the elected officials, as President was speaking, he yelled out, "You lie." Never in my history of listening to presidents speak have I ever heard anyone in political office speak to the President of the United States like that. There was another female politician when President Obama came off the tarmac. She was waving her finger in his face.
I saw that, and I was like, you waving your finger in the president's face? Somebody should have, I mean, what if it was bullets in that finger? Somebody should have had her down on the ground. You know, that's the way I see it.
When President Obama was in a state that had open carry guns, people at the presidential rally in the vicinity of the president carried their guns openly simply because they could. They were law-abiding citizens. But that is a flagrant disrespect for the president.
Right, and that's what I'm saying. So
they don't address him as President Obama. They would say Mr. Obama or just Obama. I don't recall them doing that for Presidents Bush or Bush. I don't recall that for Nixon. I don't recall that for any other seated president. That level of just direct, flagrant disrespect.
I understand what you're saying. So on the one hand, it's like we want to celebrate that someone is attacking things that need to be said at a federal level, and on the other hand, it's like we're attacking the people who are out there attacking the president with disrespect. in how they approach him. So we really want to point out that, as Pastor Floyd has done, he's the President of the United States. He deserves the same respect as anyone else. Now, I would say that some of it has died down and it's gotten a little better. Well, I don't know. I think it's...
Really?
Well, I don't know.
They're
well,
trying...
with the impeachment, yeah. Okay, so really? Okay. So it's just crazy. It's crazy.
President Barack Obama has done some things that has upset the quote-unquote establishment.
Mm-hmm.
He's trying to make sure that all people have a fair seat at the table,
right,
where others not only do not want to give us a seat at the table, they don't want us anywhere near the table. They don't want a seat at the table.
Not even in the
building. They want us serving the table.
Don't be in the building. Or if you're going to be in the building, serve the food. Well, I hear you. And I'm on the same page. I'm at odds with the simple fact that we as a nation we should be past this. It's like we keep beating this dead horse of who's the best and who why we have white supremacy. The good thing is not everyone is a racist, and even though we have some racism in high places that we need to tackle, it's still progression in our nation. But when we attack each other, as I said, from within, we become weak. We weaken the nation by attacking each other, by not having civilized acts and respect upon each other. Now, I don't think that every day that there will never be a fight or disagreement, or kids won't get into arguments, or parents won't argue, or it's impossible. It's impossible. But that's what we have the police for. Police are here to protect and serve, not attack and deny. That's what the problem is. So in all levels, we need to just come together and be strong as a nation, not breaking chains here, making our transformation into a stronger, greater, even greater, more powerful nation become a harder thing to do.
I agree with you 100%. When people start respecting other people, then we would generally move forward and have some progress. But there is a ton of hypocrisy that is within the legal profession. The law itself is not hypocritical. It is those that administer it.
I can see that. Another thing I want to talk about is minimum wage. So, some members of Congress argue that raising the minimum wage in America will create job loss and the collapse of an industry. I can't stand this. What this really is to me is greed. It's not giving a darn about anyone or anything other than yourself and your own profit line. The average college student can't even survive on our current minimum wage. The current minimum wage has done nothing for inflation and reality, and that's why I have a problem with it. So what's your take on it?
Well, as a business owner, I look at it from one perspective, and as a Christian, I look at it from another perspective. First off, from a business owner perspective, you want to be able to make a profit. The economy thrives on capitalism. The whole idea is to increase your capital. And you want to be able to offer a product for sale at a reasonable price. And the price you sell it at has to include all of the costs that it took to make that product. So on one end, well, that depends on what the minimum wage is going to be. I take issue with minimum wage, and I think it would be better to say we pay our employees a living wage.
That's a good word.
That might be a
good word. Living wage, because minimum wage, that's the minimum I'm going to pay you to keep my profit line. But a living wage, that's a wage that's going to be paid to a person where they could possibly survive.
I think if employers, and this is not all, just speaking very generally, I think if employers valued their employees a bit more and paid them a bit more, yes, your profit margins initially may dip, but your productivity is going to go up.
Right.
And if your productivity goes up, that means your cost per piece or whatever, those costs are going to go down,
right.
because your employees are going to make more of the product,
right.
which means you're producing more, basically at a cheaper cost.
Right.
So your profit margins in turn are going to go up.
Right.
You're going to have more productive employees. You will not need to get rid of them, fire them, or whatever the case is.
So you're just moving things around a little bit.
Well, yeah, you can move things around a little bit. Now, the other side of that is, as a Christian, I do believe that society has the responsibility to look on its citizens that did not graduate from college, that did not have the degrees and that sort of thing, that are not educated to have the highly skilled jobs.
Right.
You should still pay them a wage where they can live. Why would you want to have somebody working for you that's at the below the standard level of poverty, because they're going to leave your company anyway, and I can make more money over here, I'm leaving, which is in turn going to cost you. But again, if you look at this, really it's about greed and fear. Greed says, I want to make as much money as I can. I don't care about you. You're not a skilled laborer. You're not a skilled employee. You're out today. I'll have 10 more people replacing you before the end of the day is out. Right. I think that's wrong. That's greed. And fear says, well, if I pay you more, then that's going to cause me a problem. Mm-hmm. I personally do not see an issue with raising what you would call the minimum wage. I think that all companies should pay a living wage, because across the board, I think productivity will go up. The emotion, the climate and the culture of your company, that'll change. You'll have happier employees. Some of the best run companies in the world, they have very productive and happy employees because they're paying them a good wage.
And I think also that crime will go down.
Okay, that's true.
Crime will go down. I mean, I'm not even going to say not even a little bit. I think it'll make a noticeable dip, because, people, it's just like back in the day when they used to say, well, let them eat cake. Mm-hmm. You cannot do that, because eventually when people, if someone can't feed themselves, what do you think they're going to do? They're going to starve? They're going to lay back and just starve? No, they're going to get what they need in whatever way they can. Right. And I'm not saying it's okay. I'm just saying, because it's not justified ever to just go and attack someone who's worked and gotten food for their family and did everything they needed to do in a positive way to get what they need. And so it's okay for you to go attack them and take what you need to survive. I'm not by any means saying that. But what I am saying is that don't turn your back and make more of these derelict type people out there who have a need to survive, and who will turn on you because of it. Because I'm not going to starve. I'm not going to sit back and starve while you have everything. Give them a better chance at trying to have a living wage, to have a life that is worth at least going into your establishment, working for the day and going home, and at least being able to go home. Maybe it may not be a home like yours, but at least be able to go home and feed their children. Mm-hmm. The wages that we pay now just are not survivable. They just aren't. And so that's what I'm just at odds about. I just cannot stand it. And if I had the pen and paper to go up there and do it, we'd have a real living wage. But I don't know. I'm not an economist, so I might get us in trouble. But anyways, that does it for this segment of Spiritually Intriguing, the Church Edition. Thanks so much for watching.